The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Schaap. You may know me from ESPN's Outside the Lines and Sports Center. What you probably don't know is that I've suffered from Crohn's disease for almost 20 years. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America's Take Steps, Be Heard walk program is the largest national walk program dedicated to raising funds and awareness to combat Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. To learn more about how you can help and to find a walk site near you, please visit www.cctakesteps.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hi, I'm Hillary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
And a good Monday morning to you, one and all of you liberty lovers and ecclesiastites. Yes, it is I, your lovable host, Elrod, coming to you live this morning. Here it is, Monday, the beginning of the week, Monday, July number 31 in the year of our Lord 2017, which means it's also the last day of July. Kiss July goodbye. That is it. It's done. Over with. Half of summer here in northern New England is now done. I know it's kind of depressing, I know, if you think of it in those terms. But hey, let's be a positive source here. You still have half of summer to go. So all that wonderful stuff that you haven't, summer stuff that you haven't gotten to, if you're in the northern climes, then you still have, another 6 weeks or so to get to it. So it's not done yet. And, well, it's not 6 weeks, because a lot of kids go back to school at the end of August, that last week of August. So they've only got like 3 or 4 weeks left, the kiddies. But if you're an adult, you've the warm weather, you've probably got another 6 weeks to go of summer weather. But anyway, 603-835-3226. Bear with me this morning. I'm a little bit tired. Spent nearly 2 hours early this morning with trying to get rid of a little surprise in the house here in my home. See, the cat started to go nuts, and I'm thinking, Cooper, knock it off. Well, come to find out, somehow we had a bat in the house. Yes, so Cooper and I had to spend about 2 hours trying to chase this thing and without trying to kill it. I mean, the cat was going to try to catch it and kill it, but I didn't want to do that. So eventually, these things have some energy. I think it tired out. And then finally it landed so I could snatch it up in an old T-shirt and set it outside. And it was fine. I guess it rested up a little bit and then it took off again. But trying to chase this thing, I mean, it's amazing how these things work. When you're trying to scare it away or trying to get it to an open window, you open all the windows in the house, you pull down all the screens, and you're trying to get it to go through it won't go through the windows. I don't know why, but it sure as hell can avoid every other kind of trap that you're putting up in front of it. But it just didn't get to the open windows for whatever. I have no idea how it got in. None. did a quick check. There's no bats anywhere else that we could find, but I don't know how this one got in. It's amazing how critters can get into your house. You think even a new house, a brand newly built house. I mean, we've heard people talking about critters getting into these tightly built houses. How the hell are they getting in? We got Shark Week that's continuing, and they put these cameras on sharks to see where they go. Maybe we should start tagging and putting mini cams on vermin. Well, to see how they're getting in, so we can better stop them. I guess I have. How does a rat or a mouse or a squirrel or a chipmunk or anything else get into your house? Bats, we think everything is closed off, and in the summer months, I guess, but still, the even if they were coming down the furnace chimney, how would they get out of the furnace? So that's, I don't know. It's a mystery to me, and I'll probably never figure that one out. But yeah, so we had our version of Bat in the Belfry last night, and it was. They're surprisingly small. They look a lot bigger when they're flying. When they land and fold up those wings, their bodies are absolutely tiny. They're actually kind of cute. I don't want it in my house, but outside and catch all the bad bugs at night, especially the mosquitoes. That's where it belongs. But flying mammals, it's what they are. Tried my best not to see. I'm not all blood and guts. I'm not all, I don't kill willy-nilly. I just don't destroy. Isn't that what liberals like to say of conservatives? We hunt innocent aminals. You're hunting Bambi's mother. That was Disney was probably the single most. That movie Bambi probably did the most damage to hunters than anything else could have possibly have done. Because it personified animals, wild animals. And really, what is the movie with Open Season, the bear? That doesn't help either. And every time we have one of these propagandized movies, and let's face it, I'm sorry, going, Bambi, The Lion King, Open Season, all those wonderful cartoon movies like that, they are mere propaganda for anti-human hunting. They really are. And it's not good for wildlife. One of the predators on this planet that animals have always had to deal with has been humans. They've got other predators, but we're also one of them. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. We're at we're an apex predator. We're at the top of the food chain. It's what happens. That's nature. But see, with our large brains, we figured out that we don't always have to go out into the woods and hunt. We can domesticate these things and save ourselves a trip into the woods. But that's what you get when you have an apex predator that has a large brain. I mean, look at other creatures that have a fairly decent sized brain. They try to make their lives easier too. Isn't that what we study? Gorillas and apes and monkeys and other primates for. Look, they're using tools. We find out some of them, or we find out another apex predator like sharks. They often even sharks that we didn't think work together. They work together. So, I mean, what is animals that have a brain actually try to use the full capacity of their brains, and we find it amazing. Human beings try to use their brains to their full capacity, and we're called cruel, mean, inhumane, all kinds of other names in the book by the left. I guess I was if I was to personify in the flesh what the left thinks, the liberals think of conservatives, I would have just poisoned the bat in my house and just called it a day. That's what we're supposed to do, right? That's what they claim that we do. Or better yet, I probably would have got out my shotgun and started shooting the damn thing. Shooting at it, even if it was going to put holes in my walls and ceiling. Yeah, that would have been... You shoot a bat. That's the best use of a shotgun shell ever. Not. But these are the misconceptions that we get from the left. It's nothing but propaganda. And the reality is their propaganda rarely even comes close to reality. Rarely. Sometimes it comes close. On a rare occasion. We'll give it to them. On a rare occasion, they get something right. Although at the moment, I can't think of anything. But, I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure they've got some right. They've been right out there before. I wouldn't wouldn't bet the farm on it, but we'll see. If I can think of anything later on, I'll let you know. We'll see if I can think of anything. I doubt it. Got a lot to cover this morning here in the paper pile. I know there's been some movement over the weekend. The president and General, I don't understand the movement within the. I'm sorry, Trumpers. I don't understand why taking General Kelly from the Department of Homeland Security, moving him over to the White House is a good thing. I understand getting rid of Priebus. Priebus was probably even if he wasn't the leaker, he was part of the problem that enabled the leaker or leakers to continue. There was just, I guess Priebus just wasn't up for the challenge of being chief of staff. But bringing, I don't understand the whole Kelly thing. I mean, it doesn't make it. Leave him. He was probably better off at the. Who are you going to put in Giuliani? Although there is some. There's some speculation now that there might be a lateral move for Attorney General Jeff Sessions. So will Sessions move over to the Department of Homeland Security? And evidently, I guess the favor to replace Sessions at the DOJ would be Rudy Giuliani. In that particular case, then I guess I can see if he doesn't want to fire, the president doesn't want to fire Sessions. And again, listening to everybody talk about Sessions and what the president has said, basically he hasn't lost confidence in Sessions to be able to do his job. He's just extremely frustrated and upset, and cannot figure out why Sessions would recuse himself so soon without the need to do so from this so-called Russiagate, Russia interference, election interference, and Russia collusion investigation. Right, Trump is rightfully upset about that. He's rightfully is able to question that. Why would you do that? What is the deal? Well, you know what? You're not incompetent, Mr. Sessions, so maybe we'll move you to a different department. We've got to make room for you, so we'll get rid of Reince. Here we go. Here's the opening. We'll bring on retired General Kelly to take his place. That leaves an opening at the DHS. We'll move Sessions over to the DHS and bring in Giuliani to finish cleaning up the DOJ and get rid of all this investigation crap that's draining the coffers and the attention of Congress and the American people. If that's the case, then a shuffle, okay. But somebody had to go in order for the shuffle to take place. Now, those are I don't know if that's what President Trump is thinking in the back of his head. This is what a bunch of pundits out there over the weekend were speculating. Yeah, some of it's my own speculation as well. But yeah, we'll get into that, plus some North Korea news, some Russia news, and so much more. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
And now a message from our sponsor. Ladies, tired of drying your hair with the same old vacuum cleaner? Try Avon Shea brand new Beauty Locks portable hair dryer. It's smaller, it's faster, it's guaranteed to give you the hair you've always wanted in half the time. Beauty Locks is delicate and dainty, just like you. The dryer weighs only a pound and easily fits in your hand. Now that's beauty and convenience. With a speedy motor that will dry your hair in as little as 25 minutes, you can get gorgeous hair without falling behind schedule. Don't worry about the little ones or that pie in the oven. Thanks to an extra-long extension cord, you can move around while primping your locks. Forget those long trips to the salon and no more waiting for hours under monster machines. Avon Shea gives you an easy and speedy hairdo that will blow your man away. Get it now at your nearest Macy's.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told.
(603-835-3226). And that is the number to call should you wish to join me here live here on the Rod Eccles Show. Here's something to make y'all feel old. Did you know? Did you know Macaulay Culkin is 36 years old? He's almost 40. I know that's gonna make a lot of people feel. The Home Alone star is and Rich star of Home Alone, Richie Rich, and The Good Son. If you've never seen the movie The Good Son with Macaulay Culkin and Elijah Wood, I think they were both like 10 or 12 in this movie. Yeah, by the way, that makes Frodo, Elijah Wood is also, they're about the same age. He's 36 as well. Yeah, he's also pushing 40. I know it's kind of makes you feel old. Frodo is 40, almost. In any case, the reason why I bring it up is because I didn't know this until last night. And early this morning, I saw a story on Macaulay Culkin and Paris Jackson. Now, it caught my attention because I'm thinking, oh, geez, is Macaulay Culkin dating Paris Jackson? No, that's never going to happen, apparently. It's never going to happen because Macaulay Culkin is Paris Jackson's godfather. It's not that I follow celebrity, so of course I wasn't going to know that, but I didn't know that. And the reason why Culkin is in the news with his goddaughter, Jackson, is they've gotten matching tattoos. Just in case you wanted to know. Michael Jackson's daughter. Yes, that Michael Jackson. That Michael Jackson. His daughter is now 19. And Macaulay Culkin is the godfather. How can he be a god? Well, I guess he can be. He's old enough. He's 17, 18 years older than she is, I suppose. So, I suppose. By the way, Macaulay still does not talk about goings on when he was a child star hanging around Michael Jackson. He says nothing happened that was inappropriate, but he really doesn't discuss his time together with Michael. Neither does another pint-sized star. Well, Macaulay Culkin is not pint-sized, but there's a pint-sized star. Anybody remember Emmanuel Lewis? Yeah, he doesn't talk about it either. But in any case, I'm not suggesting anything. You suggest, you take it for what it's worth. But anyway, they got matching. I don't know what the tattoos are supposed to be of, but they got matching tattoos. And yes, that's how I found out that he's approaching 40. He's 36, almost 37 years old. And there you go. Okay. Any case, has he done anything recently as far as Macaulay Culkin, as far as acting? I don't remember much. Paris Jackson, she's a millennial. She's one of the last of the millennials, but getting tattoos all over the place and body piercings. I don't know. I don't think Michael will be too happy with her choices of stuff. But okay, just so long as Macaulay Culkin doesn't go the way of Woody Allen. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Woody Allen's a little creepy in my book. In any case, there you have it. You got bunches of other stuff here to cover. Do we got some time to go into this one? Well, not really. So we'll hold on to this. Whatever it is. By the way, the attempt to prosecute former British Prime Minister Tony Blair over Iraq has failed. Well, that's a good thing. I mean, I don't. Why? How did? How could you? Well, are we going to start prosecuting our diplomats, our elected officials, because they do things in their policies that we don't agree with or like? I don't know. And Governor Chris Christie confronts a big shot Cubs fan at a Brewers game. He got into his face. It kind of makes Christie look more like a bully than a guy. He's on his way out. What's Christie going to do after he leaves? What's the governor going to do? He's not very popular at the moment. I mean, his popularity is about as low as it's ever been for just about any governor. He's really in the basement. He's blown himself up. It's self-destruction. I have no idea what's going on in that man's head right now. But it is what it is, folks. So now he's getting into baseball fans' faces for not, I guess, cheering on the team that he wants him to cheer for? Is this baseball gate like Bridgegate?
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
Welcome back, 603-835-3226. Hey, have you heard about all this controversy with the new game? Well, the Game of Thrones producers have, I guess they've got a new concept for HBO after Game of Thrones is done. See, we have season 7, which is airing now on HBO, and this will lead into season 8, which is expected to be the final season, the finale season of Game of Thrones. Yeah, I mean, how many more of the characters can they kill off, actually? But so we have, well, yeah, because, well, it's not August yet. I can't go into, I mean, there are some people that still haven't seen last week's episode. So I'm not going to be no spoiler alerts until next month, which begins tomorrow, by the way. So we'll talk about Game of Thrones and what it actually means. But in any case, the program is scheduled to be done finite next year with season 8. 2018, season 8 done. I think it's another 10 episodes, and it's done. But they're already looking forward to 2019 and 2020. The executive producers of Game of Thrones, I guess, are either approaching HBO or HBO is approaching them. I don't know who came up with the idea. But there's this new, if you haven't heard, they're looking to do a project called Confederate. Now, if you know what the Confederacy is, or Confederate was back in the day of, say, Abraham Lincoln, you've got it right. And basically, the basic 411 on this one is that this would be a series, a program, in which the South did not lose a civil war, but actually won it and successfully seceded from the Union and kept slavery intact. And of course, they bring it forward. It is not going to be about, the late 1800s, early 1900s South, but a more I guess from what they're saying, the South in the year, in the 21st century, with slavery fully intact. Still, so modern day slavery still fully intact in the South. I don't know how the hell they're going to do that. I mean, they tried doing that in South Africa, right? With apartheid, that didn't. When a bunch of, but I'm not going to call them goody two shoes because they rightfully attacked South, apartheid. But when they decided that apartheid had to go, when people all around the planet decided apartheid had to go, it didn't last very long. They had to capitulate. Pressure was immense. And now we've got countries all over the place that are trying their best if they're not involved in it themselves. Some of these regimes are just devilish and evil. But governments all over the planet are fighting what they call the human trafficking and human slavery trade that still exists today. But it's the underbelly of society. It's not out in the open. It's not the norm. So they're going to say, well, what would happen if the South had gotten their act together and actually defeated the Union Army and successfully seceded? Now, there'll still be the North. See, some people thought, well, did that mean that the South took over the North too? and we became all this would be now the 50 states of the Confederacy instead of the United States of America. No, there'd still be the North. And from what I'm understanding, there'd still be the North and the South. But they'd be two different countries. I don't know how that would work into the rest of history. Because let's face it, without the United States, World War I and/or World War II would not have been won by the West, by the good guys. Would have been won by Germany. Just saying. So I don't know how they're going to make that leap. There wouldn't have been a World War I and World War II. Had nothing to do with the United States. So yeah, there still would have been a World War I and World War II. But without the power of the United States being a unionized and a solid single country, there's no way that we could have saved the world. Yeah, I just wouldn't. Anyway, I know it's Hollywood. There's a lot of factors they're going to have to try to figure that out. Determine what would happen. In such an alternative universe. Now, why is this so important? Why is this political? Well, because you have people out there who are already trying to get this thing from being made. Now, it's in the very early stages of just people just talking and coming up with concept here. And yet somehow this has got leaked out, and it's got a bunch of people, all aflutter. And they're already mobilizing to squelch the project. Yeah. What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah. They already want. I'm going to put this delicately. I'm trying to be delicate because it is Monday. They're acting like fascists. And here's the story. Grassroots campaign started on Sunday, got the hashtag #NoConfederate trending on Twitter. The campaign was organized by April Reign, R-E-I-G-N, the activist behind the hashtag Oscars So White. She got it to coordinate with the airing of Game of Thrones. By speaking out now, she said she hoped to prevent the production of the show before it gets written or cast. So before she even really knows what the whole program's about, she thinks she knows. But before she even knows and understands what the whole thing is going to be about, what the treatments are, what the whole no, you can't have a program about slavery. No, you can't do it. No. If it's not Roots, you can't have a show about slavery. This is just the squashing of free speech, freedom of expression. Now, I'm not saying I think this program should go forward. I'm not saying I would watch it. But to already come out against something that hasn't even been fully developed is asinine. Again, you're jumping the gun, thinking that you know everything. You don't know jack squat. I mean, this is incredible. So now we're going to start to determine by the potential title of a program, if we're going to allow it to be made or not. Is that how we have a free society? Because, Confederate is just, is that too sensitive a topic for people? So are you afraid? Let me tell you what they're afraid of. Let me tell you what they are afraid. They're not afraid of people thinking that maybe the South should have won. What they're afraid of is them bringing the South into the modern day world, the Confederacy into the modern day world, and making all the comparisons to what the Democrat Party has already done over the past 160 years. Are you following me, folks? No, if you think I'm off base and you're a leftist, do you know who Margaret Sanger is? You know who Governor Wallace is? You know, we've got all this history in the South that is KKK that has been foisted upon us by the Democratic Party in the South. This kind of show could bring fully into light of what the Democrats really are about. If this is done right, this could show the real side of Democrats. Folks, I'm not joking here. Because what happened that led up to the Civil War? Well, there is this party called the Democratic Republican Party that split. Republicans were abolitionists and believed that all men were created equal and should be free. The Democratic side of the party decided, well, no, slavery is here. Slavery is going to stay. We believe that slavery is the right thing to do. We believe that slavery is in the Bible. It's not in the Bible, but they tried to say it was. Well, I mean, slavery is in the Bible, but God's acceptance of it as a norm is not. So they believe that they have the right and the ability to buy and sell human beings like they were cattle, and to do with them as they please. If you didn't like your slave back talk, you can hang them. No big deal. Just a slave, not a real human. And ever since the Civil War, we've had the Democrats who've done all kinds of things to circumvent the Constitution and the laws of the particular day, to deny blacks and people of color their duly God-given rights as to be human beings. And you've had people come on board, like Margaret Sanger, who started certain organizations whose only goal was to either to eradicate or control the vermin that they called Negroes or colorful. By the way, her main target, was blacks in this country. But her secondary target, she didn't like Latinos. Any brown people. No. You got to be able to control the vermin, is what she thought. So you have all those people since the Civil War up to today, the modern day today, who are within the Democratic Party, who have done everything in their power as far as they could do going way back in the day, to prevent the ability of African Americans and other brown people from enjoying the same rights as the quote-unquote superior Aryan white race. Wasn't that Hitler's idea too? What was Hitler? Hitler was what? Yeah, a fascist, by the way. And Hitler believed that there were certain people that were superior to other people, even though he did not meet up and match that superior human. Blonde hair, blue-eyed, tall. Hitler was dark-haired, brown-eyed, and short. So his ideal Aryan race wasn't even him. He didn't even measure up. But everybody followed him. It's the same thing that we got going on now with this program. They're going to bring forward, if this program were to ever come to fruition, what the left is afraid of is that they will show the left in its true light. And I frankly believe that the left knows this, and they can't handle that, and they can't allow that. They can't allow the connect, because right now they can hide the connections. They can poo-poo the connections. But you put it on HBO with the producers and writers from Game of Thrones. Well, people are going to start to watch it. They're going to start putting two and two together, and they're going to start abandoning the Democratic Party. They're going to start labeling the Democratic Party as being the fascist party, as being the communist party, as being the slavery party. And the Democrats have spent a century trying to hide that fact. Maybe that's why they don't want it to be made.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face, sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Call Rod now, 603-835-3226. Lines are open.
Zero 835-3226. Welcome back. Do you think that the left is really trying to hide its own history? I think they are. I think that they are really trying to hide their own history, histoire, as it were. And this is why they don't want some of the, this is why they're already speaking out against this program, because we have no idea how they're going to even approach it. I mean, at least what you would do is that you would, in order to object properly, you'd have to see what the treatment is and what the idea is to bring this thing forward. Then you would attack the program on its merits, not speculate. The only reason why you do this kind of speculation is because you know that there is a possibility of you being exposed. I mean, that's just the way it is. The possibility of you being exposed for being the hypocrite, being the liar, being the racist, being the unfair fascist. Plain and simple. There's no other way to get around it. Basically, Sometimes I think they do this on purpose. There's no traffic around, and they want to go ahead and use all their sirens. In any case, emergency vehicles. Love our first responders, by the way. But in any case, they always make it sound like it's worse than it is. What I hate is when the men and women in blue down a main street in a city, and the speed limit's 30. Of course, everybody's doing 35 and 40, and they're doing 50 with their lights going. I'm sorry, no, that's dangerous. They need to slow it down a little bit. If you got to get to, if there are places within your community that are that bad or that dangerous, then you need to put more police officers within that area instead of trying to save money. And this is the problem. We do this a lot. I know I'm getting off topic here, but we do this a lot in communities all over the country. We try to save money in the wrong places. We cut back or try to make the cops do more with less. We cut back and close fire stations and make them do more with less. And yet that's exactly where we're supposed to be spending our money. Now, I'm not talking about a police state or having a fire station on every corner, but what we often do is we cut them back so much that they can't be everywhere. You can't put enough of them on the street or have enough of them around, so they got to travel. And that puts the rest of us in danger. In the meantime, what we have going on is that they're spending all this money on these social programs. And this is happening in this state, too, in New Hampshire. Trust me, folks, this is, and they always use it, well, we have to protect our citizens, we have to protect our children. One of the big things is this new drug problem. Now, you have to forgive me for a second here for sounding slightly inhuman when I say that we need to stop putting so much of our hard-earned money in this area. And I know a lot of people say, well, wait a minute. We got to help people who get addicted. Most people who get addicted don't want help. That's why you arrest them and force them into rehab. They don't want help. And I think what we're doing is we're attacking it from the wrong standpoint. We're spending a ton of money on this. We're spending a ton of money on the drug war and the drug treatment, war, post-war, whatever you want to call it. And the areas that really need the attention of our municipalities and our states are getting cut. Our police departments, our fire departments, our first responders, our roads, our infrastructure. It's playing second fiddle to a bunch of people who already know that they shouldn't do what they're doing. And most of them don't want your assistance once you bring it to light that they're in trouble. Oh no, but that's where we need to spend our money because that's humane. It's not humane, it's stupidity. And you can go ahead and say that I'm being inhumane because I think that way. But we've already been told over and over again. We've had all these programs. You're not going to be able to stop somebody who does not want to stop. Plain and simple, but you can sure as hell waste a lot of money on it trying to get them to want to, and it's not going to work until they want to.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of French fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent wildfires, urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and always stay in the kitchen when cooking at high temperatures. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Premature birth is the #1 killer of babies. Those who survive often face birth defects and complications that affect them for life. For hundreds of thousands of families in the United States, this is the hardest thing they will ever have to face. And it's even harder on the baby. March of Dimes is providing education and support to families and funding life-saving research to give every baby a fighting chance. You can help. Do something today. Give them tomorrow at marchofdimes.org/tomorrow.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Not on my watch, our military service members say, as they volunteer to serve. As they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So not on our watch, we say, to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve to live full and independent lives, even when there's no government funding, or a nursing home seems like the only option. We won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Join us at findwwp.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
And welcome back, all of you liberty lovers and ecclesiastics all around the globe. Yes, indeed, it is I, your lovable host, Elrod, coming to you live here. Call-in number this morning is 603-835-3226. Here it is, Monday, July number 31 in the year of our Lord 2017. It's going to be a warm one around here, I do believe, so they say. Still waiting for all that global warming to take. I know I keep saying global warming. It's no longer global warming. It's man-made global climate change. But in any case, it's a beautiful sunny Monday morning here in northern New England, and we're enjoying summer. You know, you get days like this day and days like yesterday. It was kind of hot yesterday. You don't want the cold weather to come. You know it's coming, but you don't want it to come. But I'm a sucker. I really am. My favorite part of the year actually is not summertime. Now, as you want to say season, summer is absolutely my favorite. Basically, it goes, summer, then fall, into Christmas, and the season I like the least is early spring. I do. I don't like it that much, and I know people say, well, it's just it's the renewal of hope and life, and everything comes alive. Yeah, but not really, no. Not around here. It's mud season. That's what we call it. It can never make up its mind. Part of the reason I like fall, autumn, early autumn, is probably because of, I'm not going to lie, it's got to be because of peanuts. Yeah, Charlie Brown. And it's not just Halloween, but it's just that whole. I had a wonderful childhood. I did. I had a wonderful. I mean, in spite of all the dangers that the family was in, because of my father being in the military and things like that, I still had a very wonderful child. I have fond memories of my childhood, and some of those fond memories are of the fall. When we lived in places that were colder, and I remember living here in northern New Hampshire, or in New Hampshire, on the seacoast, God, I was in first and second grade, and I still remember this like it was yesterday. It was a fall day, a fall weekend, and the wind was blowing just right, and it was blowing the leaves down our street. And a bunch of us were just outside, and we were trying to catch the leaves as they were blowing by us and try to see who had the prettiest one and the strangest looking one and all that kind of stuff. It's unbelievable what you remember about your childhood. But I remember stuff like that. It was a wonderful time. And to be able to do things, I don't know if kids do anything like that today, but maybe they do on video games. But I'm not going to lie, I had a great childhood. My parents were awesome. As far as my childhood was concerned. Sure, no, I didn't get everything. That's because you got everything you wanted, right? No, I did not. I remember wanting desperately to get to, well, today we call them Power Wheels. Anybody remember Power Wheels? But they had these things going way back in the day. Not just, the pedal. I had a pedal car, an old metal pedal car, but these were electric driven vehicles. And I remember it was like 3 years in a row I asked Santa Claus for this thing. I never got it. I never got an electric little car, Power Wheels. So I didn't get everything I wanted. But I can honestly say we didn't, the kids in our household did not want for anything. Not that we were wealthy. Being military brats, we were not, but we didn't really want for anything. My dad worked his ass off. Pretty much. But, yeah, we had, and again, it's not because we were rich. 'Cause my parents had a work ethic. That work ethic is, you'll still see it in the military, but in the civilian world, it's kind of lacking. That kind of work ethic from both parents. They don't. It just doesn't seem to stick around today. And and then of course, if it doesn't come easy, and the kids get spoiled, and the kids become expectant. They expect to have this, and they expect to have that. And if mom and dad don't get them the latest phone or iPad or tablet or computer, what have you, the kids are going to pout. Pout. No, we didn't do that. Sure, like any other kid, you want something really bad and you don't get it, you're going to be highly disappointed. Yes. But you can't disappoint these kids today. I think I pointed this out last week with that biography of the Reddit co-founder who killed himself. It's not too long ago now. It was 5 years ago, 2013 or something. 4 years ago. And the reason why he did it, and I pointed this out, is because not because he got caught doing something potentially wrong or illegal, but they weren't going to let him get away with it. And he couldn't deal with that because he had always been able to do whatever he wanted and got whatever he wanted while he was growing up. And all of a sudden, somebody came in and slapped his hand and said, "No, you can't do that." And he's like, "Oh, I didn't do anything wrong." Well, yeah, you did. The problem is that you can't handle being told no. And that's the problem that we have with a lot of kids they're not kids anymore. They're now adults. Now, can you imagine? I hope I live long enough to see the ramifications of what we are about to experience firsthand. Now, you folks realize that millennials are now having kids. Yes, the leading edge of millennials, they're 30 to 35 years old, so, heading into 36. They have kids now, and these kids are starting to come of age. When I say come of age, they're starting to get into school. And pretty soon they'll be entering middle school. Now, can you imagine having parents who were never really told no, all of a sudden having to raise kids And these kids start becoming self-aware and realize what the hell is going on around them. And now they want everything too. And mom and dad, who are millennials, who were never told no, now got to tell these kids no. How is that going to work? I'm interested in seeing the sociology of all of this, the ramifications. I bet we're going to have a new psychiatric type of thing. You know how it's, baby boomers, they were told that the parents were at fault for everything. Well, your childhood was not as perfect as it could be because your parents were terrible to you. Remember all that stuff? Parents were terrible. Baby boomers, they had to find their inner child again because, their real childhood wasn't as perfect as they thought it was, and their parents were at fault. I wonder who they're going to blame in this next generation when they grow up to be. Are the millennials going to blame their parents? No, they're probably going to blame their grandparents. Well, their parents never put their foot down because, while the millennials were being raised, what did these wonderful, parents think? These baby boomer parents, what did they think? You couldn't discipline your kid too harshly, no spanking them. You didn't keep track of score because you didn't want them to hurt their feelings and all this anti-bullying stuff. Now, it is amazing what is being construed as being a bully is today. Really? You said something that hurt his feelings. You said, you called, even though he's not gay, you said, you're being gay. That hurts his feelings, and now kids are getting suspended because of that. Because that's being a bully. Those are bullying words. Really? No, I remember a bully used to physically push you around and punch you and threaten to beat you up. And threaten to jump on your face and pound the crap out of you. That was bullying in my day. It was something physical, not. You ever said any words that hurt somebody? Somebody got their feelings hurt by words. What did everybody else do? They laughed at him. Oh, cry baby, cry baby. And it got even worse. That wasn't bullying. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen and heard of is this whole new bullying thing. So who are we going to blame? What are we going to blame the parents, the millennial parents? Can't blame them. The grandparents, the baby boomers are going to get blamed. I bet. I'm I'm not a mental health professional. I just speculate on this kind of stuff. But you got to wonder. Yeah, I don't know if I want to live long enough, but I hope I live long. I guess I hope I live long enough in order to see how all this stuff begins to turn. Are we gonna? Is it go? The pendulum looks like it's starting to swing back because this whole new Generation Z. Because the millennial generation stopped being bred, I guess, in like 2000 or 2001. Now we're in Generation Z. And they're not thinking the same way that their older siblings thought or think. In fact, a lot of times they think their older siblings are just total dweebs and idiots. Really, they do. They're a lot more conservative. We're going to have the clash of the generations here between the millennials and Generation Z. It's going to be interesting to see how that turns out. And I hope God willing, I'll be around to see it. It's not. I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to end well, folks. I really don't. And who can we blame for? Yeah, we're going to have to be able to blame the baby boomers on this one. Sorry, but we. Well, no, they're probably going to blame. They're probably going to blame us Generation Xers because we're also the ones that are raising the Generation Zers. But millennials are also raising the generation. Isn't that interesting? The leading edge of millennials are now raising the Generation Zers. So this Generation Z is a complete backlash of their millennial parents and their baby boomer grandparents. Interesting to see how that plays out in itself over the next few decades, I suppose. I don't know. I have this strange sense of foreboding of the future. There's this massive dark side. There's this we have this potential bright future, but there's also this massive dark side. And I haven't even gotten into North Korea and Iran and Russia and China and all that kind of stuff. But there's this massive black hole out there. It'll be interesting to see if people actually smarten up and to see if we can actually get out of this century alive.
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
$603-835-3226. Welcome back. Hey, this whole White House upheaval thing. Again, as I mentioned earlier, it's a little bit for those of us on the outside looking in. You know, the lamestream media is trying their best to try to show that there is a lack of support or falling support for President Trump, and that's just not the case. Trump insists that there's no chaos at the White House, and really, if he says that there isn't, the problem is just trying to get this leaking under control. The problem is that he is still trying to deal with the swamp within the executive branch, let alone the rest of the government. You know, these deep staters are still embedded in the White House. So there's no getting around the fact that he's still trying to deal with the swamp and trying to clean it out. Now, of course, you're going to bring in some people that are in the swamp and that you don't know are in the swamp until they start working. And this evidently, I know there are probably bunches of people that probably warned Trump on Priebus in saying, Priebus is part of the swamp, Mr. President. You can't have him inside the White. Maybe, maybe not. I wouldn't have had him as I understand why he did it. And I think the president is realizing that even though he extended, the white gloved hand of friendship, that they just keep biting it. They keep snipping at it. And I think he's getting that. It was a calculated move to try to get, to help him get some of his agenda going. And the people that he is extended a hand out to, and they keep snipping at him. And I think the president has just finally said, well, you know what? This isn't working. You're not working. You're not helping me move my agenda forward. So we got to go in a different direction. Now, I think that's what the whole thing with Priebus is, whether or not he was maybe they did find out that he was leaking. Maybe he was leaking stuff. Wouldn't be the first time. Hell, we've had that kind of stuff over there on House of Cards where the high-ranking inside officials were leaking crap. But it is what it is. Let's go to the phones here. Let's bring on 731. You're live on the Rod Eccles Show. Good morning. What you got?
Hey, well, you know what? I wanted to say something about your millennial and your the baby boomers real quick. When my son started driving, and this is a quick story, he wasn't doing exactly. I could pick up on things. You know how parents just know. So I went to Radio Shack and got this is before, they put all the stuff on the car they could follow you around. I told him, I need something put on this car where I can get on my computer and see where my kid is going. So the guy was kind of like reluctant. And I said, oh, no, you just fix this up for me. And so I did, put it on his Tahoe, and, he'd get somewhere. I'd get home from work and I'd look and I'd say, okay, he's over at the doctor's farm, unsupervised, doing God knows what. So I would just call the police. I'd call him first, call my son. I'd say, are you drinking? No, ma'am. I said, okay, you should take you only 17 minutes to get home. And if you've been drinking, you will be picked up. And what message that sent after a while, because I did it every night that, Friday and Saturday or whatever. Some people can say, oh, that was invasion. Well, it's no more invasion than we're being invaded now, and I was invading my own son so that I made sure he went down the right road. It was my responsibility.
Yeah, it's either that or the police were going to invade. I mean,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And now I tell you that, he's a good, upstanding, law-abiding, tax-paying citizen. But at the time, he did not think too highly of me, nor did I think too highly of him. But, we got that worked out, and that's how I chose to, be what it is. Some of these people say, oh, she's gotten his business, his privacy. Hey, there was no privacy because at the end, if he failed, I was going to be the payee, So
yeah, parents are not friends. They make the mistake of trying to be friends to their kids. You're not your kid's best friend. You're never going to be. I wasn't there. I wasn't there to be their friend. I was there to guide them and raise them so that they could, God forbid, take care of themselves. And then that was my story on that. But I also wanted to say about Priebus.
I believe that Trump did. I don't believe he's gotten where he is in his life without realizing who's probably on the up and up and who isn't. I do think that he's a forgiving man. Seems to be a forgiving man. Like, I'll make a truce with you, and without maybe understanding how deep the rat holes go. And I think, and honestly, I think he probably, and this is just my speculation, I doubt this man can even probably fathom the type of things that have gone on in our government to sway or have persuasion on how it operates and how so many of them are compromised. And the very example is, look at these Awan brothers. Who the hell hires somebody from Pakistan? And I'm not racist. I'm not xenophobic. I'm not anything. But I'm just good old common sense. If I would think that might be an error. Something could go wrong with that. And I don't think that, so he's seen that somebody was leaking, but you know what? It wasn't the big person leaking. They're sending it to the aides to leak. You see what I'm saying? And so I think he didn't want to go in there with like, a general running this and a general running that, but he just needs, he needs to follow his heart, what he thinks. And I think that the people are behind him. And just like you said earlier, let me tell you something. The people are for him. The deep state, they don't realize, you've got Stephen Colbert and all these people getting up on late time TV making an idiot of themselves. They may have some of those people, but if you ask them one question about the news, they don't know what's going on. They just know they don't like him. They just know that Trump's nasty. They don't know anything else, and they don't realize that they're dying to start a war. Look at the mess they've left him. I mean, we're talking between Russia, North Korea, China. Think about it. If Hillary Clinton were in, we would already be at war with Russia. You can just about guarantee that, probably, because she wouldn't have gotten her way, because she really just wants to cut their oil off. And people are saying, well, you're saying that Russia wanted Hillary to win. Well, yeah, Russia just wants to be able to take care of their people. He's not as evil as or dirty as some of our people are. When I say that, that's pretty sad. He's just looking out for his economy, and we're willing to take over the oil. Is that making sense?
Yeah, well, I've said this before, that Putin doesn't have his sights set on world domination. It's not like the old USSR where they had their
no, he doesn't.
He doesn't have his eyes set on the world. He has his eyes set on pretty
safety.
Yeah, well, let's put it this way: you could just say that Putin was Trump before we got Trump, as far as Russia's concerned.
That's right.
He's about Russia first. He really is.
That's exactly.
Don't get me wrong. I don't like the man. I mean,
I don't. But you know what? I trust him more than I trust John McCain. I'm sorry.
I know that's pretty sad to say, but yes, I agree. I shouldn't say I don't. I trust him to do what I think. I trust him to do what he believes is going to be in the best interest of his country, and which is obviously a lot of times not in our best interest.
That's true, but I don't think he aims to shoot a missile at us unless somebody really forces his hand. But that's not the same. I'm here to tell you, it looks very scary, because what do you hear? And I listen to you on most days, but I remember at one point you said North Korea would have a hard time getting a missile off the ground. I mean, did it not fail, like you said, like on a Saturday one day, like it and I don't remember, but this was a while back. And now all of a sudden, it will, and it may have been Agent 99, I don't know, somebody said, whatever. But they can, now all of a sudden they say, oh, they can get a missile to the United States. Now, how did that happen that fast?
Well, that is, it's by having technology that was delivered to them that they did not have before via Iran. Iran,
Mm-hmm.
and let's face it, Iran and North Korea, they're in touch. They're working in cahoots, and they have a go-between. They have China, and to a certain extent,
so there's a lot of military support around them.
Yeah.
Well, and then Iran, since our ex-president just delivered all that money on that pallet, I think what came out to $1.75 billion. Is that correct? Is that what they ended up getting?
Somewhere in that neighborhood, yeah, the equivalent of.
Yeah. And so we sat, and so I don't really know what these what the globalists they really think that we're just their little minions to go to work and pay our taxes, and they just run around and go do whatever. And I think kind of people are tired. I don't know about you, but and I heard you talking about the dark side. Some days feel very, very bright, but then some days it seems like that hole is just staring us in the face.
Yeah, there is this whole notion that that we have this nothing but bright future ahead of us, but that means that you have to ignore all the evil that is currently in the world. I mean, look, Venezuela is tearing itself apart. If that doesn't come under control, and quite quickly, whether the guy actually just turns out to be a complete and total dictator like the Castros of Cuba, or goes back the other way towards real democracy, if that doesn't come under control, it is going to bleed over into stable South American countries, and we're going to have a big mess down there. And understand that's going to directly affect us.
It does, because you know what? It's kind of like a run. Like you're going to make. It's kind of like if you're going to put on a play, and you're going to make the first run through and see how it's going to work out, and what spaces you need to fill and so forth. That's what this reminds me of. It reminds me of, let's see how this plays out. And I feel George Soros' hand in this.
I don't know about Soros down in Venezuela, but he's had influence in many parts of the world.
I do think that he has his hand in. He may not be there physically, but his Arlinsky type, rules that are applied are being applied. You marginalize the food, monopolize the food. You make their dollar worth, or whatever their money is, you make it useless so they can't use it, and so which in turn makes all of their assets that they've saved for, whether it be their house or their car, it's worth nothing, and so it crashes everything, and so then it's just like a third world, and then they're desperate, so they go, oh, I am going to put this dictator in, because it can't get any worse than this.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that the Venezuelan people really, because right now they're trying to get him out, but he's.
Oh, I know they are. It'd be just like us, though. I mean, think about it. Half of the people asleep here, you want to wake up. You want them to wake up now before we do end up like that. That's my point.
Yeah, you definitely would. But there is a story here. I think I saw it. Well, they had this vote down there in Venezuela. Just speaking of Venezuela, they had the vote down there, and evidently, what would happen if you gave an election and nobody showed up to vote? Well, that's according to this story, this is what happened down in Venezuela. They had this constitutional vote, and something like 90% of the voting population didn't show up to vote because they didn't want anything to do with it. They want this guy out.
They didn't want the non-constitutional. They didn't want them to tear their constitution up, right?
Exactly, right.
And so they're not going to accept the... Now, what keeps the... in that article, does it say that it's going to be deemed that they're not going to accept that somebody tried to come in and overtake their government or whatever? Is that
this
what
guy, he's going to do whatever he needs to do in order to become, potentate of
dictator?
Venezuela. Yeah, it's. We already saw the writing's on the wall. All this is just formality stuff. The dictators never really pay attention to what the people say anyway. Castro never did.
Right.
So
right.
What makes you think that this guy's going to do? And the guy before, Hugo Chavez, didn't pay attention to what the people wanted or anything. But and he kept claiming, well, they kept voting me in. Well, we know that your voting system was highly suspect. They've said it over and over again that Hugo Chavez, he stole elections.
Yeah, the people are much smarter, but it's just that they need to. Sometimes we tend to wake up a little. We sleep in a little too long sometimes to get it.
When you don't have the ability to fight back against a fully armed government, then you're just sitting ducks. And this is Venezuela. I mean, this is now. If people really want to understand what it means to the right to bear arms in this country, just pay attention to all these little countries. Not that Venezuela is a little tiny country, but just pay attention to all these little countries where the people don't have a right to protect themselves or bear arms. Their government runs roughshod over them whenever the government damn well pleases. And this is exactly what was happening in Venezuela. They could have been against Hugo Chavez and this new dictator idiot down there all they want to, and they are, but they don't have a chance until they can get the military on their side. They're going to get crushed every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have no way of fighting back. None.
Well, thank God we take care of our military, and I think in the event of something here, I think the military is going to, go with the side of the people. That's what I pray that's what, that would happen here. So, our big weasel government officials that don't even care about the people, I think their time is limited. If people just get out and vote according to how they, like Trump said, this is my favorite tweet out of all the 2 years of tweet. He said, well, I guess maybe we should just make it where the Congress and Senate and the House, they all just have the same health insurance y'all have.
That would be nice.
They should, yeah. Okay, well, I will let you go. I just was just listening to you and thinking that I needed to put some sunshine in your day.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You bet. Bye.
Bye-bye. Speaking of that right here, we have this story that GOP Senate hopeful is saying, let's face it, McConnell's got to go. And he was, he was on the air on CNN with Chris Cuomo. Representative Mo Brooks. And this is from Hot Air via CNN. Give Representative Mo Brooks credit for self-promotion, trailing in the primary fight to replace Jeff Sessions in the Senate. He announced an effort to get everyone to withdraw from the race and have the front-runner interim Senator Luther Strange resign from the Senate to allow Sessions to get appointed to fill his own term. Now, Brooks didn't check in with Strange first, who scoffed at Brooks' plan as what a canned does when he learns he's plummeted to a distant third and is desperate to get attention. But he didn't waste any time getting onto CNN to lead the charge in attacking Mitch McConnell's leadership in the chamber. Brooks is fighting to join. It's more self-promotion, of course. This is something that Senate Republicans will have to work out. But is Brooks wrong? No, he's not wrong. I've said this, McConnell has got to go. There's a lot of people that have said McConnell's got to go. Hey, ho, McConnell's got to go. Hey, ho, McConnell's got to go. Why don't we have any chance like that from the right? McConnell's got to go. This is just like Boehner. McConnell is a Senate version of Boehner, John Boehner. And how many times did we out here in the rank and file say that Boehner's got to go? Well, is there a religious leader that Mitch McConnell looks up to? I mean, Boehner looked up to the Pope, and the Pope came and to the United States, and that was, I don't know, it was like the Pope laid hands on John Boehner, and Boehner just had an epiphany. Oh, my dear Lord, I have to leave the house now. Can we get that out of McConnell? Is there somebody that McConnell follows to such an extent, or loves, or respects, or reveres to such an extent that we could, bring him up to the Senate, so McConnell could have an epiphany as well? Well, we need that kind of stuff. Hey, well, I hate to say it, but we do. That'll be one. I don't know. It's, I don't know what the original Mitch McConnell's religious affiliation is. Not that it's really necessary to go that route, but if we're going to try to recreate what happened to Boehner, then I guess we're going to need to know that. But McConnell definitely needs to go. And this is awful that we have to keep doing this. We have to keep saying, well, McConnell's got to go. Well, first we said Boehner's got to go, but we didn't want to lose the House and give it back to the Democrats. So we had to think of some other way to get rid of Boehner. And finally he took himself out, which is fine. And now we're saying, well, McConnell's got to go. Now, the problem with McConnell is that eventually we'll get rid of McConnell, and then we'll get back to, well, now Ryan has got to go. Why do we got to keep going around in circles like this? Why? Why can't we get people into office and elected to office that really do want to represent the people of their various districts and not themselves? You can come up with the short answer, the short stick, the easy answers, the lobbyists and George Soros and all the money, running around and being in D.C. and people get what? But everybody, sure, a majority of them probably get sucked into this stuff, but some of them don't. So why is it that we can't seem to find enough people who have the character and caliber to be able to resist this garbage, to be able to resist the swamp? I don't understand. In this day and age, when we have a nation of over 320 million people, we can't seem to find 535 of them that can do this? How is it possible? It's not possible. There's something more devious and dire. And no, don't talk about the Illuminati and that kind of thing. That's not it. I think the real problem is that we the people, we've fallen asleep. We're lazy. We don't want to take the time to pay attention. We claim we don't have time, but yet and still we still watch like 6 hours of TV every night. But we don't have time to pay attention to politics. And we've become so engrossed in fiction, in what fiction has to say about reality, that we don't think that our vote. How many people say that, well, my vote doesn't count? Well, that's bullshit. Of course it counts. But we have so many people in this country that say, well, I don't vote because my vote doesn't matter anyway. And they believe it. But why do they believe such nonsense? Well, I mean, first of all, this is nothing new. This is, our country has always had the minority of eligible voters going to the polls to vote. And thus that minority gets to dictate what the majority does. And in some countries it's different. In some countries it's better. The voter turnout's better. In some countries it's worse, a lot worse. So we're one of those middle-of-the-road democracies. Maybe it's because we're so comfortable. Maybe. I don't know, but I don't understand, and I don't know why we just can't seem to get people who can resist it. Just saying.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message. A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. You know, there's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people, you suck.
Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Sign him up for the Box of Bait Club and he'll never be hungry again. The Box of Bait Club is a brand new dream come true for every fisherman. Something new and different in your tackle box every month. Every month, another excuse to get outside and do what you love. Don't let this one get away. The Box of Bait Club is currently accepting a limited number of pre-orders with subscriptions starting at $39.95 per month. Find out more now. Log on to boxofbaitclub.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Warning. Listening to the Rod Eccles Show by the Idiot Left may cause outrage, fear, a need for safety pins and or spaces. If you experience any of these symptoms or are allergic to truth, tune in and learn something.
This is a little bit weird, I suppose, but to even think about. But here's a story. Federal court rules that officials can't block trolls on social media. Why would we even be going to court to try to do that? But anyway, A lawsuit brought by the Knight First Amendment Institute at Columbia University a couple of months ago. If you do not know, it involves a group of people who had been blocked on Twitter by President Trump after some of their constructive criticism. Read trolling. Now, apparently, it generated this whole notion or incident generated enough spam in his mentions column to be noticed. This was somehow interpreted as a First Amendment violation, leading to the pending lawsuit. While the entire promise sounds like some sort of parody stolen from the pages of The Onion, we may have an early indication of how the courts will be treating such questions. This case doesn't deal with the president, but instead an obscure fight involving the Board of Supervisors in Loudoun County, Virginia. That's Loudoun. The board's chair apparently blocked a constituent, Brian C. Davidson, on Facebook for a period of 12 hours before unblocking him, and deleted a post of her own which contained a comment from Davidson. The results from the initial hearing at the federal court are disappointing, to say the least. Now, Davidson sued, alleging a violation of his free speech rights, as U.S. District Judge James C. Kacheris, C-A-C-H-E-R-I-S, explained in his decision. Randall essentially conceded in court that she blocked Davidson because she was offended by his criticism of other colleagues in the county. In other words, she engaged in viewpoint discrimination, which is generally prohibited under the First Amendment. Now, as originally pointed out when discussing the Knight's First Amendment Institute case, a minuscule dose of common sense would indicate that such a finding is far-fetched, to say the least. There are two factors at play here. One is a question of blocking her, one is a question of blocking the user, which should be a no-brainer. Blocking someone on social media doesn't prevent them from speaking, even in that particular forum. It just means that you won't see their speech. The second question gets a bit more tricky, because when the chair deleted her post, she made one of Davidson's comments disappear. I suppose, at least in theory, that's suppression of speech, but only in the Facebook universe. Davidson was still free to petition his elected representatives in any traditional fashion and make his viewpoints known far and wide. Surely the courts would recognize that, right? So basically what this is saying is that if you are a government official, it doesn't matter what if you're on social media, it doesn't matter if it's a government media account or if it's your own media account, you cannot delete or block constituents, because somehow that violates your constituents' freedom of speech. No, it doesn't. It is a very bad decision. This is another reason why you got to have the right people in office in order to appoint the right judges. This judge has got it wrong. I don't know how many times we're going to say that these people get this stuff wrong constantly. You don't have a right to post anything on a private platform. Twitter or Facebook is private. It's not public. Do people not? How many times do I have to explain this? You know, Twitter and Facebook and MeWe and Gab and all these other, and, you know, LinkedIn and Google Plus, those are not government-run public entities. They're all private entities. They're run by companies or corporations or individuals. So you don't have a right to do and say anything you want on those platforms. It's not yours. And and if somebody blocks you, oh well, that just means that they're not going to get to see it. Doesn't mean you can't post. This stupidity runs rampant.
Today, there's a beer for everyone.
Hey, me and the guys are going out for beer. You want to come along? Nah, I got a lot of data to enter into the computer tonight.
Now, there's a brew for the future.
Want me to bring you something back? Thanks, but I got some right here.
Microsoft Brew.
You got a beer tap on your computer?
With a head so thick you can float a mouse on it.
Let me get this straight. You make your own beer with the computer? With the right software, you can do anything.
Microsoft Brew.
Here, I call this one Windows 95. I don't know. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
And if you got to get there quicker, try the new ISDN malt liquor.
When I found out I had atrial fibrillation, a serious but highly treatable heart condition,
First thing I thought of was, who would take care of my wife and children if anything were to happen to me? My doctor recommended Prevactin. I had a lot of questions, so I did some research. It turns out Prevactin is the #1 recommended drug for Crohn's disease. I think my doctor's trying to kill me and steal my wife.
Doctors. They'll stop at nothing to get your wife.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
It's a huge burden lifted financially, and so it allows you to give singular focus to your child. I've never known a hospital that takes care of their patients so thoroughly.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders. And now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back. Hour number 3 here. The fastest 3 hours on Internet Talk Radio is right here on the Rod Eccles Show. Glad that you are here on this Monday. Beginning of the week. It is July number 31, the year of our Lord 2017. Excuse me. It is the end of July. And that's it. Today's it. So if you wanted to do things in July, this is your last day to get things done in July. 603-835-3226 is the call-in number. Excuse me. Coffee. Yeah. Any case, by the way, where did I set my cigar down? I know I went to the... Aha! Aha! It rolled away. Here we go. All right, we're all set now. I got the morning cigar in hand. Got the coffee, as they say down in Long Island. Got the microphone and the Freedom Throne. That is a chair that I sit in while delivering all these wonderful bits of wisdom to you, the listener. Yes, indeed. The Freedom microphone and the Freedom Throne. I know some people have throne. You're calling it a throne, Rod? A throne? Really, a throne? Yes, it is the Freedom Throne. And it looks nothing like the Iron Throne on Game of Thrones. But if this were the Freedom Throne, the game of Freedom Throne, I would win. Take me a few years, but I'd still win. In any case, speaking of freedom, the president is thinking of freeing Congress of its unfair advantage. Yeah, well, Evan, this is from Axios this morning, and it has to do with a tweet. I wonder how many people have blocked the president's tweets. I think the president, if Rosie O'Donnell is blocking the president from tweeting, I think the president should sue her. Because she's denying him his freedom of speech. After all, he is the president. And everybody around the president, in these United States should have the ability to be able to hear what the president has to say. And if all they do is pay attention to Rosie O'Donnell is blocking the president from speaking to the Rosie O'Donnell fans. Just say, well, look, if they could get, sue the president for because he blocked them, I mean, can't he reverse it and sue them for blocking him? I would think that they could. It should be fair. But in any case, in a tweet in some tweets this morning, I guess, the president was outlining his belief that maybe, just maybe, and you got a bunch of people in Congress who are now squirming in their seats, who's thinking that just maybe the bailouts for members of Congress should come to an end, especially when it comes to health insurance, because members of Congress and their staffers get subsidies for their health insurance. Now, meanwhile, out there in Arizona and other places where everyday Americans' premiums are going up 50, 70, 100% or more, they're not getting subsidies. They got to pay for that garbage. And yet they're worried that if we don't give subsidies to these people in Washington, D.C., who, by the way, on average make almost twice what their private sector counterpart earns. Yeah, this is no joke. They've already gone over this, ad nauseum under Obama. You had people making six figures, doing things that people in the private sector well, sometimes in a lot of cases it was more than twice. I mean, you got secretaries and people doing secretarial duties in the in the government making $90,000 per year plus, when their private sector counterparts are making $30,000 to $50,000 a year. And these people claim that they can't afford. Well, it's Washington D.C. Washington D.C. is so expensive, Rod. They can't afford to live. Well, isn't that what you keep telling us out here? The $15 an hour minimum wage in New York City and San Francisco and in Boston. Where houses, especially, San Francisco, the Bay Area, where the houses are going, you can't even get you get a tear down for $500,000. That's what you get. A 2-bedroom, a bath, half a garage, and it's like 1,200 square feet, and you probably should tear it down and rebuild it instead of remodeling it. That'll cost you $500,000 or $600,000. That's San Francisco area. That's the Bay Area. Look, I know it's been a few years since I've been out to San Francisco, but I've seen it firsthand. 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, 2-car garage on a small lot on a cliff in front of a highly traveled main road. It sold for over $1 million. The place was like less than 1,500 square feet. It was in Sausalito. I'll never forget it. And it was a repair. It's what they call a tear down. It's not even worth repairing and remodeling. You just tear it down and build something new and bigger. It was $1.5 million, over $1 million for this thing. And that was back in, when was the last time I was in San Francisco? 2013, 2014, somewhere around there? Can you imagine what it is now? Speaking of San, I got one of the most beautiful cities American cities I've ever been to. Quaint little town. It's not even a city. What is it? Is it a town? Village? I don't know. Sausalito. Expensive as all hell, but such a beautiful little area. Would I live there? No. Not on your life. Even if I could afford to, I would not live there. That's just insanity. But in any case, so we have this one size fits all, and the president is saying, well, you know what? Maybe you people need to experience what the constituency out there beyond the borders of Washington, D.C. Are experiencing. What do they have to experience? The ACA, the Affordable Care Act, which is, you want to talk about a lie in the title? President Trump's tweet this morning is, stated that he is considering ending, that is getting, basically this tweet is getting a lot of attention from members of Congress. He hinted that he might overturn an Obama-era rule that allows members of Congress and their staffers to get subsidies for their health insurance, which they have to get through an Affordable Care Act health exchange. That's what he meant by bailouts for members of Congress. Now, again, getting back to this whole notion that these the Democrats are for the small person, the little person, the common man, the blue-collar worker, the working-class person, which they absolutely are not. And they're getting on HBO and these producers of Game of Thrones for this whole notion and idea that they may have this new program coming around in 2019 or 2020 called Confederate or Confederacy, because if I have no doubt that these people would blow wide open the entire, they would break this facade of who the Democrats want you to think that they are and expose to you of what they really are. And this is the same thing here. Obama, this all wonderful, loving potentate did something that harms you and me. I'm not even talking about the Affordable Care Act as it is. That's bad enough. But then to insulate those people who are going to be running the damn program are insulated from its cost. That's just evil. Now, the ACA requires members of Congress and their staffers, to get health coverage through its exchanges, but it was never clear on whether they should get subsidies to pay for most of their premiums. This is the way that employers pay for most of their workers' health premiums of the Obama administration. Not anymore, by the way, I might add. Because it's becoming so damn expensive that people are having to foot more of their own bill. And, employer can't pay all that. And you wonder why there might be some stagnation in wages. Well, when you take into consideration all the bonuses and perks that they're getting, you know what? I have always said this. There are two things that need to be done when it comes to employment in this country. Two things. One, they need to stop taking your money in taxes before you get your paycheck. You should be forced to write a check every quarter to the government for your taxes. The government should send you a bill, and you should be forced to pay it. Because then you'll know exactly what you're paying, and you're not going to like it. And two, all these so-called benefits that employers needs to go. Need to be cut out. And they need to give their employer or their employees the near equivalent in salary and say, here, we don't want to intrude on your personal life. We don't want you stuck here simply because you think you're not going to get better health care coverage someplace else. We want you to be here because you want to contribute to this company and the success of this company. So we're going to pay you very well. And you can go and get whatever you need out of your paycheck, like you're supposed to. We're not going to pay for any life insurance, any health insurance, any dental insurance. And these are the days that you're going to get off. You're going to get however many personal days. You want to call them vacation days, you want to call them sick days, whatever you want to call them. You're going to get, let's say 2 weeks. You're going to get 10 days a year to do with as you please. That's your vacation, your sick time, whatever. That's it. I don't owe you anymore. As an employer, I don't owe you. I owe you a decent, honest pay for an honest day's work. That's it. I owe you a good, solid, safe environment in which to work, and that's it. I'm not going to pay for your health care. And I've already set up as my ventures begin to grow, and I have to start hiring full-time people. I'm just making it clear they're not going to get all those benefits from me. Well, Rod, you got it. No, I don't. I'm trying to tell people that they're much better off if I don't provide it. because they can get it better for themselves and they get to keep it. You understand that part? If you have health insurance that you buy and you leave your company, you still have your health insurance, you still have your doctor, you still have your plan that you like, you still have your affordable coverage and all that kind of stuff that comes along with the plan that you chose. How is that not better? Well, you don't have a chance of getting it subsidized. Well, you're getting a higher paycheck. And if you're smart and shop around, maybe you'll get to keep more of that raise that you get. I'm sorry, your company does not owe you all of that. I have never, ever been swayed. When somebody tells me about the benefits of a company, I poop. I said, that doesn't matter. You know what? What's my salary going to be? Well, the benefits. I don't give a rip about the benefits because I'm not going to use or take most of them anyway. I want to know what my salary is. Well, geez, you're not normal. That's the problem. I didn't want to be normal. I wanted to take care of myself and my family. And getting all these wonderful little perks was not putting money in my pocket. It was actually taking money out of my pocket. So if I give you a higher salary than normal, you should be able to pay for everything you need, just like they used to do. This whole notion that companies pay for everything, all these so-called benefits and perks, that's a relatively new thing. This is not long-standing, company, corporation practice here. And I love when I get all these, these wonderful companies. Well, we take care of our employees by, we provide this and provide. Oh, bullshit! You're not taking care of them. You're coddling them for one, and then you're kind of bribing them to stay. Instead of offering them a fair salary and decent working conditions, you're bribing them to stay because you're giving them all these so-called perks. And in the end, you're actually paying them a lot less than what you probably should be paying them. That's the truth. Look it up, folks. If you've fallen into that trap, man, you better go back to your boss and renegotiate your salary because they're ripping you off, thanks to the government.
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there.
What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Three 835-3226. You know, if you speaking from a business standpoint, from an employer standpoint, let me ask you this. Now, a lot of people would give the wrong answer. Actually, there is a right and wrong answer to this. Would you take a job that loads you up with benefits, or a much higher salary? Now, the problem is that because most Americans have been coddled for far too long, they would take the benefits, not realizing that they're being shortchanged. So, and employers also don't try to explain this. And now it's a benefit to both, actually. So somebody comes on and says, okay, you know, we have all these benefits available to you. You're probably not going to take them all, but they're all available to you, but your salary is $50,000. Or you can take a salary of $65,000 a year without any of the benefits. 95% of Americans will take $50,000 a year with the benefits because they have no clue and realize, well, first of all, they're not going to utilize all those benefits that are being offered. And two, $15,000 a year is going to be able to pay for a lot if you're able to go out there in the open market and buy it yourself, whatever you want. Not to mention on the flip side, you would think that, you know, some people think, well, they're going to give me $15,000 a year. How can they afford to do that? Because they're spending $20,000 or $25,000 a year on all those benefits for you. That's how they can afford to give you $15,000, a $15,000 raise. They're saving $5,000 or $10,000. Now, if you match that around with some of the larger employers that have 100 employees, say $5,000 a year per employee for 100 employees. That's a lot of money to a company's bottom line. Now, think if you're a multi-billion-dollar corporation with thousands of employees, what that would do for your bottom line. It'd save them a lot of money. And people would get higher salaries. Now, why isn't that the way we're going? Why isn't why isn't the Republican Party shouting this from the top of the hills in Washington D.C.? If we get government out of companies' pockets, if we get government out of your wallet and your pocket and allow you to make your own choices again, one, companies are going to save money, you're going to make more money, and you're going to be able to keep more money, and you're going to be able to get the services that you want at a better price with better service. Why aren't they shouting this? This is the other reason why they needed to repeal Obamacare. Putting the choice back in the hands of people and their employers once again where it belongs. And yet they failed to do that. Because I'm here they don't want you to have a better life, people. I mean, come on. They want to be the ones in charge of it, controlling it, your life. Because if they were doing the best for you like Trump is trying to do, they'd get the hell out of your business, so to speak, and let you live your life and have the ability to do it. But no, they got to get involved and say, well, it's for your own good. You can't even control yourself, Mr. and Mrs. Government employee. How the hell are you going to control my life? Seriously, think about it, folks. I know a lot of people are going to try to disagree with me, but why are you disagreeing with me? Because the facts speak for themselves, and what I said was true.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all, the few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Bring the rain.
Swallow my beats. I stay niche.
603-835-3226. Welcome back. Since we're on this whole kick with the in the White House and trying to get Congress to pay their own way, hey, these people can afford it. They can afford it. They really can. Don't make them. You know, they try to get people to feel sorry for. I love this. Well, we gotta. Congressmen and senators, they gotta have two. They have to have two places to live. You know, back home in their own state and district and in Washington D.C. No, they don't. They don't have to buy. They could rent a flat somewhere. These guys, I mean, they purchase these kinds of homes in D.C. They're not cheap. They don't have to buy these places. They don't even have to rent a mega apartment. Just if they're just in Washington to work, they don't need a big place. I'm sorry, you don't. You're making over $175,000 a year, roughly. And if you think that they're paying for everything, that's why they have, contributors and that kind of stuff. But it's still, no, it's not a lot of money. Living in D.C. but it's not. You're not supposed to get rich off of working in D.C. But what do we have here? We have, amongst all of this stuff, the additional thing that's going on there is the so-called leak war, which is why supposedly some of the inside intel is saying that Priebus was one of the leakers, and they figured it out. Trump figured it out along with Scaramucci. Figured it out that Priebus was one of the leakers. And now they're bringing in General Kelly from the DHS in order to he's going to whip the White House into shape. Military precision. One thing about military precision is that civilians don't tend to like military stuff very much. They don't get it. But in any case, these leaks have led Jeff Sessions to tout the jump in the number of probes. I don't care how many probes they got. How many people have been caught, have been tried and have been convicted, have been prosecuted and convicted on this. I haven't seen that number. But anyway, late this week, Attorney General, late last week, Attorney General Jeff Sessions said that he planned to release figures later this week showing a jump in the number of leak cases pursued so far this year compared to all of last year under Obama. The figure shall be finalized today, said Mr. Sessions. Administration officials believe the increase is because there's more leaking going on, including by Obama appointees who remained in government, known as the deep state, and because the Justice Department is being aggressive in going after them. Now, the event announcing the leak war is expected to include officials from both the DOJ and the intelligence community. A senior administration official said one purpose of the public announcement of the figures is to try to curtail the culture of leaks, because leaks beget more leaks. Trump is going to find that leaks are a symptom, not a disease. Yes, of course, a disease is the swamp. You can crack down all you want, but he has so antagonized permanent Washington, which is good, his supporters say, that information will still find its way out, which is the big point here. There should be very little of permanent Washington. Just saying. There should be very little. Not a whole hell of a lot. In any case, let's see. What is it? Boop-a-doo. No, I don't want to bring you that story. That was kind of a waste. Asset for. Oh, did you guys hear about this one? I've mentioned asset forfeiture here before. And how it, well, just to give you a little background information on what asset forfeiture is, you don't have to be even charged with anything when it comes to the so-called drug war on drugs. If the police were to say, I don't know, you found, you loaned somebody your car, and there was a marijuana seed that was found, let's say in the back seat, they can take your car, take title to your car. And they can take title to any cash you might have. Now, you might have own a business, a legit business, and you have, let's say you have, this has happened to people. They have, you're going to the bank, make a deposit, you got $10,000 on you, you're going to make a deposit, you have all the receipts and everything, you're about to make a deposit, they pull you over, stop you, say, nope, this cash has to do with drugs, we're going to take it. And you're like, wait, no, it doesn't. You don't always get it back. In most cases, you don't. You don't get your car back. You got to fight to get your stuff back. Even though that you were never even charged with anything, and even though the prosecution didn't even said, there's no case here, you still don't get your stuff back. Well, the defense of asset forfeiture in the conservative outlets opinion section had to come as a shock to its readership. However, because this is in defense of asset forfeiture, because evidently conservatives are for the government stealing your stuff. Again, this is what I'm assuming here from the way they wrote the article. Former Deputy Attorney General George Terwilliger, the fourth. Why do they write it? This is. You know how the fourth is when you use Roman numerals, it's basically an I and a V, right? Well, they've got four I's. who served primarily in the George H.W. Bush administration, made the case for seizures as a focused and necessary tool to curb violence and drug trafficking afflicting American cities and towns. Did it work? No. But cops, especially in the high, drug areas like Miami, got some pretty good stuff. I think Miami and Southern California are the only. I think California Highway Patrol may have had one. But I think Southern California and Miami have been the only places that I have ever seen in the United States that have had Lamborghinis painted as cop cars. Yes. Every day brings a new wave of American families devastated by violence or drug use. Overdoses are common occurrence. Again, look, hey, somebody wants to overdose on something. How are you going to stop them? Oh, we're going to confiscate everything they own. That doesn't make any sense. Now, these tragedies are the work of criminal gangs that flood the streets with drugs and turn urban cores into combat zones. Such gangs exist for one simple reason: to make money. It's the only reason gangs have ever existed. The trafficking drugs, firearms, and human beings is a means to their enrichment. Gang leaders get the cash, but often evade prosecution by remaining distant from the provable dirty work. Taking away their money is therefore as important as seizure. So in the meantime, while you're trying to get at the gangsters' money, you're taking legitimate, legal, law-abiding citizens' money and assets at the same time. Now, of course, when they're actually found guilty of the conduct, that's when things, make sense. What we're discussing here, however, is asset forfeiture before a trial takes place, and sometimes without a trial ever taking place. Terwilliger misses the big constitutional step between evidence collection and punishment, and argues that the nature of the crime requires preventative seizure without having to meet the proper level of proof. This is just an argument that ends justify the means, an approach against which the Constitution safeguards us by providing for due process. Do you realize that asset forfeiture is a violation of due process? You don't have any due process. The government agent, whether it be a local police officer, or a state trooper, a Mountie, a FBI, DEA, doesn't matter. They come up on you and say, nope, you're caught, we find you guilty as charged, so we're taking your stuff. Because you used it, you got it from ill-gotten gains, and you're using it to further your ill-gotten gains. Look, I have always been against asset forfeiture. Never. Because it is a violation of your constitutional rights for due process and against illegal search and seizure. And that's what asset forfeiture is. Look, I mean, it is rife. The problem is with it is that the vast majority of the assets that are seized get to stay within the jurisdiction in which they are seized. In other words, local police departments can make a killing off of this. This is why you have seen Lamborghinis and Porsches and Bugattis and other supercars being painted up as squad cars, as cruisers. Because they take this stuff from people, even if the person isn't even ever charged with a crime of any kind, let alone drugs. They don't get it back. That's not what government is for, because they can walk up to anybody and say, well, we might need this particular house or property for police business. So we're going to take it because, we saw that you potentially could be a drug dealer. And we found an illegal poppy seed on your front lawn. That stuff happens, folks. And it happens more often than you think. And I've brought this to light many times before in the past. And you will not believe the number of people that call themselves constitutional conservatives who are all for this asset forfeiture. But look, it's never happened to me. And frankly, I do not know anybody personally who this has happened to. I hope I never do. But the problem is that it's anti-constitutional. It's against the Constitution. Thus, it's against the law. But yet the government gets away with it. And you've had judges at all different levels, except for, I don't think the Supreme Court has actually weighed in on this. But we've had judges at all different levels of state and federal government that say, yeah, they can do that because the ends justifies the means. Getting our streets safer, getting drugs off the street, supposedly justifies breaking and ruining and trampling on your constitutional rights. This is. I'm being told I know somebody personally that personally was a victim of unsolicited asset forfeiture. I don't think I know of anyone that was. I mean, look, I read the stories all the time. This person. There's a case here in Virginia, a case in California, a case in Florida, a case in this state, a case in that state. These people they were never even charged with anything, and yet they can't get their stuff back. Oh. And I do know somebody personally. And you know what I'm talking about then. This stuff is it is the antithesis of freedom, folks. I mean, this is what banana republic governments do. Not a well-established civilized democracy does. Not at all. And if you think that it is okay, why don't you try having your stuff confiscated by the government using this asset forfeiture thing, knowing that you're innocent, that you did not break any law, and then find out that you're not being charged with anything, and then thinking you could walk into the police station and get your property back. It's no longer yours. Not even your car. By the way, here's something that you didn't realize. That if you have a car with a car loan on it and the police confiscate it, you're still liable to pay off that note with the bank. No joke.
What if I told you that you could lose weight simply by drinking coffee? Change your coffee, change your life. Our gourmet estate-grown coffee is infused with powerful herbs that help you melt fat and keep you from feeling hungry for 6+ hours. Get results or your money back. Order yours today at skinnycoffeeshop.com. That's skinnycoffeeshop.com. Tea and water also available. skinnycoffeeshop.com.
Have a legal problem and need some serious legal advice? Then you're listening to the wrong podcast.
Any facts we say here are probably wrong, and any analysis of the law should not be followed.
There you go. Reasonable Men are here to take a twisted look at the law.
Stack your hayride.
Learn in hand. Best name in law school.
Check us out on iTunes, reasonablemen.com, or on your favorite podcast app.
Reasonable Men are back.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, But now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, Donald Trump had tweeted about ending the ability of transgendered sweet transvestites from serving openly in the U.S. military. It come to find out by some estimates, as many as 6,600 of these people are serving in the armed forces. 6,000? How does that happen? In any case, there has been plenty of reaction across the political spectrum on President Trump's tweets about banning transgender troops. VOX put together a roundup of people and politicians who were angry about the decision. While the Daily Wire wrote only 12% of active duty military supported transgender troops, it also claimed gender transitioning was self-mutilation, which it is. From a personal standpoint, I don't care if someone is gay, straight, trans, sheep lover, well, I do. Because some of it's just sick. I mean, it's one thing if you're LGB, you're lesbian, gay, or bi, but you start getting into this other crap that they attach to the LGB stuff. People are starting to get mentally ill there. You're into BDSM and animal, what is it? Bestiality and wanting to cut off your male member and turn it into a female. There's something mentally wrong with you people. That's it. I'm not a mental health professional, but that's my personal opinion. Same thing with pedophiles. If you like little children, it doesn't matter if they're the same sex or opposite sex of you, if you think that they're sexy, there's something wrong with you mentally. It's not normal. Except the problem is people aren't willing to look at why this is even an issue to begin with, and it shouldn't be an issue because you're a guy and you want to be a woman and you still want to serve in the military. How does that jive? It doesn't. So in order to counter this, what people on the left are saying is, well, maybe we should stop giving away all freebies to military, like free medical care and free... What? As if all that is free. These people aren't getting paid a whole hell of a lot in the first place. I mean, what the hell is wrong with people? This is just unbelievable, and I can't believe that we're out of time already. All right, where did the 3 hours go this morning? I swear. No, I'm not doing a 4-hour show, though, folks. We'll try to pick this up again tomorrow. But can you believe this? Because Trump wants to get rid of trannies, transvestites, and serving openly in the military. That means that the military should stop giving away quote-unquote freebies. It's just sick in the head, people. Sick in the head. Can't make this stuff up. See you in about 21 hours, first day of August tomorrow, folks. Don't miss a thing. We'll see you then. Have a wonderful Monday afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. I'm out.
it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Lapdogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain what, why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For Clinton, what's loaded in some fat Apple file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.